Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you
Perfect.
loud and clear. How are you today?
I'm amazing. Thank you.
Aw, she's got a reward. Well, we are honored for you to be our first interview of the month for Women's History Month here. We're going to be spotlighting a different life changer every single Monday. And couldn't think of a better place to start than with Miss LaQuail Johnson. Have gotten to know you over the last several years.
Thank you.
You've always been just a sweet person, and I knew you always had greatness and leadership ability in you, and I think in the last 24 months it has really, really shown, at least publicly. I think privately, most of us that knew you knew that it was always there, but I just want to say thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Jack, talk to us. Be spotlighting a different life changer every single Monday.
Yes, I know that the connection that I'm just saying. I know the connection that I have with people. Thank you so much. I have a lot of connections with women, and I'm so excited. This interview today is like planned my whole day. My whole day is based on this, so I'm very excited. You know, I'm definitely a woman, so I'm excited to share about women's history. I know that the connection that I'm just saying. I know the connection that I have with people. I have a lot of connections with women, and I know I may not be a mother and different things, but I know the struggle that we have, and I've been able to overcome, and I always knew stuff that I overcame was for me to be able to help somebody else. So hopefully what I share today is going to be a blessing to someone or several people.
Well, let's get right to it then, LaQuail. I mean, I'll give a couple bullet points here. It says you were born in Louisville, Kentucky. You were raised primarily in Atlanta, Georgia. And you've always had a leadership mindset from a young age. You graduated college. You had big dreams of owning a marketing business. And after years of working at Macy's, it seemed you had no way out. Then you found TLC and things all changed. And let me just say that LaQuail has an amazing story that I know very well. You didn't have success right away, but you kept on going, and I think that's what's the most amazing part of your story, because I think a lot of people probably would have gave up after a year, after 2 years, and maybe even after that third year, but you never gave up, and I think you were better for it. So the floor is yours.
Well, no, wait, I just want to say, remember LaQuail? Every event, she'd be at the back of the room, right, 1 foot out the door.
Yep. Like we didn't even know she was there, right? I do remember that, and you deserve to be in the front of the room, and now primarily you are, and we're honored to have you here today.
Well, thank you. I thought about, what I wanted to share. I know that I was asked to talk more about overcoming and different things that I've dealt with or struggled with. So I said, let me think of what I'm going to say, because I know me, I'll start talking and I'll start rambling. So I have, the first thing I want to say is, this award is so monumental. Number one, thank you once again for this amazing award. But I've been sharing with groups personally, on Zooms and on trainings, like I was somebody that didn't have success for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. What if I would have quit? So I went from somebody that didn't have success to being the first ever recipient of the Vitruvian Award. So I went from no success to making TLC history. And to me, that's a big deal, because that just goes to show that if I didn't stick it out, I would have never gotten this award. I definitely didn't expect it, but I had to tell myself I deserve it. And I know one thing that I had to overcome was knowing that as I did start to get success, as I did start to get all of the things that I really wanted, I had to know that I deserved it. Because at the beginning, I really didn't feel like I did. But when I thought about all of the things that I went through, all of the times that I wanted to quit, all of the times that I doubted myself, all of the times that I allowed what my business was or was not doing dictate what I did. So one thing I've been talking to people about a lot lately is this: don't allow where you are in your success path to deter you from doing the basics. Because what we naturally do is if we're doing all the things that, our leaders, our coaches, our mentors, the company is telling us to do, but we're not seeing the results we want, we stop or we slow down. And that used to be me. I used to be that person that I would do a few things and then it wouldn't work, or it didn't work fast enough, and then I would stop. But I had to catch myself in that, because I said, okay, if I want to win, like if I'm running a race, why would I run slower? Because I'm not going to get to the finish line that way. So one thing I had to overcome was even my self-doubt. So there's three things that helped me in my transformation to go from where I started to where I'm at. So the first thing is reinvention. So for reinvention is different things for different people. For me, it was a little bit of physically and it was definitely internally. So you can't be afraid to reinvent yourself. When you look at where you are in your life right now, where you look at where you are in your business, if you don't really see what you want, if you're not really getting that end result, sometimes you got to just reinvent yourself. It could be changing your hairstyle. It could be, dressing a different way. It could be, losing weight, gaining weight, getting in shape just so you can physically feel more confident about who you are. It could be whatever you're doing in your personal development. So I understood the fact that I wanted to start presenting myself the way that I really wanted to be. So even if I wasn't that 7-figure earner yet, even if I wasn't that 6-figure earner yet, even if I wasn't that leader yet, publicly in the company, I wanted to start presenting myself as though I was. So I made the adjustments that I needed to make for me. Everybody's going to be different. Y'all know I've been around a long time. I have naturally short, curly hair. I really like my hair, but I also like really long hair. And so my reinvention, I had to do something I knew nobody was going to expect. So when I changed my hair, that was a big thing. And now I change it all the time. So I might be a redhead tomorrow, or I might be blonde, but that's part of my reinvention process. That may not be for everybody, but it was for me. So I had to do different things to make me feel better about me. So reinvention is the first thing. So don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. And if you know that you're not happy with how you look, you can change it. You can take those small steps. We all know we're in an amazing company that has amazing products. You can change how you feel, because I didn't realize how much my weight, how much my fluctuation, how much different things really affected my self-esteem. I didn't realize it until I started doing something about it. Then I had the energy that I needed to make phone calls, to follow up with people. I had the energy I needed to keep pressing forward once I started really taking better care of me. What I realized, and as a lot of us women, I don't care if you're a mom, a wife, single parent, whatever you are, we always naturally give more to others than we give to ourselves, and that was me. But I realized I was getting burnt out. So that was another part of my reinvention. I had to really take time for myself. I had to say, okay, it's not being selfish if I want to focus on me, because if I don't, I'm going to run out of gas and then I can't help nobody. So reinvention was a big part of me. And I have to definitely give, a shout out and honor to Coach Stormy and Natalie Nicole. Those are two women that have changed my whole life, and they've showed me up close in person what the reinvention process looks like, especially Coach Stormy. She's always changing. When I look at memories and the different ways that she looked and how she dressed, she changed from the season she was walking into, not to where she currently was. And so I picked up that from her, and I started doing the same thing. So reinvention was one main thing. Now, the second thing is respecting the process. I had to know that success wasn't going to happen overnight. Losing weight wasn't going to happen overnight. All of the things I wanted wasn't going to happen when I wanted it to. It was going to happen when I was ready for it to. So I had to tell myself, okay, if these things aren't working out yet, either I'm not ready like I think I am, or there's still more work that I need to do internally. God's not going to bless me with what I want right now if I'm not prepared for it. So I had to respect my process. I had to respect however long it took to get to where I wanted to be, but I knew that I had to do the work on myself. I had to be consistent. I had to not give up. I had to continue to serve. I had to continue to grow to become the leader I would want to follow, to become the woman that I always knew that was inside of me. I had to continue those things during my process, and I couldn't rush it. And when I say respect the process, right before, I want to say it was 2019, I turned 40. I still wasn't at my success level yet. My mom took me to Vegas for my birthday. My mom is very successful. So at the time, she took care of everything because I just wasn't in a position to do it. And she asked me about this business. She said, LaQuail, you've been doing this business a long time. I know that you're serving. I know you're helping and doing these different things, but like, what are you going to do? Like, it's been all this time. You still ain't really got, what are you going to do? And I said, Mom, I believe in what I do. I believe in the company, and I believe in the products, and I believe in the leadership. I said, my time is going to come when my time is going to come. I'm not looking at what anybody else is doing. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else's journey. All I can do is do what I know to do every single day and trust the process. And right after we had that conversation, not even 60 days later, my whole business changed. But it was because I was finally in the headspace that I needed to be in for elevation. See, I didn't know when it was so hard and when I didn't want to trust the process, when I didn't want to reinvent, when I didn't want to make adjustments. Those were my testing times. So once I finally got on board and got in alignment with what I wanted, everything opened up for me. So that's respecting the process. And the last thing is release. We have to learn, and I had to learn to release anything and anybody that wasn't serving my next level. And even with release, it can be mindsets. I had a lot of fear. I didn't want to go live. Like me doing this right now, I can do it. But in the past, I would have been scared. I'm talking about scared, scared. But I had to release things that were holding me back. I had to release self-doubt. I had to release not thinking I was good enough. I had to release my inadequacies. I had to release past hurt and pain. I had to release people that weren't filling me with things that I needed for my next level. I had to release whatever it was that was holding me back, because we don't realize how much stuff we carry that can keep us from flying high. So the last thing is release. Whatever you need to release in this season is March Madness. It's March 1st. It's a new month. So you can use this as your new year, your new start. What do you need to release to get to your next level? It could be, if you know you're on your weight loss journey, you got to release that food that you love that's not helping you lose weight. You have to release those habits that are not contributing to your goals. You have to release those people that are not speaking life into you. You have to release the mindset that is not taking you to where you want to go, because wherever you are right now is because of what you think. And if you're not where you want to be, you got to release those thoughts. So those are the three things that I wanted to share that really helped me get to where I am. It's something that I still constantly make sure that I'm paying attention to, that I'm still respecting my process, that I'm still letting go of the things that are keeping me back, and that I'm still in a position to continue to reinvent. I've been using the resolution drops. I lost about 10 pounds. So I'm feeling really good because I'm in another stage of my reinvention process. So those are my 3 R's for transformation: respect the process, reinvention, and release whatever is holding you back. I hope that wasn't too long. Hello? I can't hear. I can't hear.
Are you muted? Maybe you muted me.
No, I can hear you now.
You can hear now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hopefully, if you guys are watching, you were felt inspired by that message. Well, I know your story even more so than what you shared, and I just want to say I always thought you were just an amazing person. You had such a great spirit about you, and it's great to see people like you win. It really, really is. But the Vitruvian Award that LaQuail was graced with just last month, it really goes to a person who truly embodies mind, body, and spirit. Right? So you had to embrace that, right? Like I just wrote some notes as you're speaking. At one point, you told me I absolutely hate working out, but I know I need to do it. Right? You've told me that before. I know that about you, right? And you talked about acting as if, right? So you had to at a certain point act as if you were that six-figure earner, right? Now I just wanted to touch on this real quick because I think when you have a mindset, because I've been there before, you kind of almost feel like, if you start acting as if, people are going to think that, you have a big ego or something. But acting as if does not mean you need to go rent an exotic car and pretend like it's yours. Acting as if was you started working out. I think you started reading more. You started getting up a little earlier. You started going to bed a little later. You started being more organized. You become the organizer for the team. I know that about you as well. So acting as if doesn't mean material things. Acting as if means acting as if you're already there. What do those people do? What does their daily routine look like? And I think that you're a perfect example of that. So I want to say thank you for sharing. Although you still shared a lot of nuggets with us today, and I'm going to go and reevaluate my life. Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear. But no, I just, I think when we sat down in Dominican Republic last year, you shared with me so many things that I kind of knew you were going through because you were at every event. I could always catch you trying to sneak out that back door. And it's amazing to see your story and how you continue to grow. And now you're an example. You're an example for women around the world, including obviously women in TLC. But that's what I always try to stress, that you're sharing your story, and it's being heard at ears that need to hear it, and they're just not all part of TLC. So thank you for being courageous to continue to share and share now you're sharing the vision. You shared your story, now you're sharing the vision. So thank you very much.
Yeah, LaQuail.
Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with it too, because I think obviously we're all happy that you stuck with it because you became successful. But I think what we forget sometimes is the beautiful part about you sticking with it is now you can be an example. I stuck with it. I reinvented myself. I respected the process. I released all the things that were holding me back. And then ultimately I found, you even had to, have that conversation with your mom, right? That's tough. I know, like, I have a similar relationship with my parents, and, that's a tough conversation to have when they start telling you, I don't believe in what you're doing. And then 60 days later, I think you just spoke that into existence. I really, really do. And I just want to say thanks for inspiring us today and being our first ever Women's History Month Unsung Hero of the Week. So
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Right? First Mercurian Award winner and the first Unsung Hero for Women's History Month of the Week.